Hello everyone and welcome to another offering from Marvelous Videos. Today we're going to look at the origins of Neil Quinn, aka Ulysses, also known as the last son of Earth. As the name might have given you a clue, there are a lot of parallels that are drawn to the last son of Krypton, and we're going to explore his origins, similarities, as well as his core differences from the Man of Steel, and what makes Ulysses such an intriguing character in the DC universe. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, then please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. The not-so-last son of Earth, Ulysses makes his first appearance in issue number 32 of DC's New 52 Universe Superman storyline, written and illustrated by Geoff Johns, John Romita Jr., and Klaus Janson. The issue starts with a flashback set 25 years ago from the current day in a research center named Ulysses Research Center. Neil Quinn was with his parents, Bridget and Peter Quinn, who were scientists working at a facility. However, a level 5 leak caused by strange matter from Dimension 2 contaminated the facility. Peter and Bridget believed this leak would mean the end of the Earth, as nothing would be able to stop that strange matter from expanding and gobbling up the planet. They then took a split-second decision to save Neil, their son, by sending him to the fourth dimension using an experimental transporter in the lab. This fourth dimension energy seeps into Neil's cells, much like how solar radiation was soaked by an infant Kal-El or Superman. It transformed Neil's human physiology and made him acquire superhuman strength, speed, intelligence, and energy absorption abilities. Back in the present day, Ulysses returns to the planet seemingly unaware that it is his birth planet, Earth, and ends up helping Superman take down Cleric, Ulysses' sworn enemy who vowed to destroy Earth. Here, Ulysses finds that Earth is not destroyed, as he learned from the journal that his parents sent with him, and he is not the last son of Earth, as he was made to believe all his life by his adopted parents and civilization in the fourth dimension. Superman's superhuman ally. The story continues as Ulysses explains that he is overjoyed to learn that his home planet survived. He quickly strikes a friendship with Superman, knows Superman's alter ego is Clark Kent, and tells him his backstory. After seemingly being saved by his adopted parents who raised him as their own, this became the protector of their world with his superhuman powers. Together they stop some robots attacking Metropolis and locate Ulysses, aka Neil's parents, who survived the accident at the facility 25 years ago. The old couple is overjoyed at reuniting with their long-lost son, and Neil lets them know that since Cleric, the enemy of his people, is now defeated and held on Stryker's Island here on Earth, he has no reason to return and can stay with his birth parents. He explains how the essence of the fourth dimension has permanently turned him into an almost indestructible superhuman. However, we soon learn that Ulysses cannot sleep since his cells are constantly energized and use the absorbed radiation to infinitely recharge and replenish him. We also learn that another one of Ulysses' superpowers includes reading all kinds of radiation by their unique signatures and the ability to track them effectively. Using this, he and Superman track down the villain Machinist, who was the creator behind the automatons constantly attacking Metropolis. During this, the Machinist tricks Ulysses into thinking he killed an innocent hostage, which makes Ulysses question humanity and its evil for the first time. We see Superman's superhuman allies struggling with the darker sides of society, as his world is a utopic war with no wars, diseases, or conflicts and evergreen peace. Superman tries in vain to explain to him about humanity and his struggles about how Earth isn't a perfect world yet, but Ulysses reasons that his home planet is better, and perhaps the people of Earth would be better off there. Ulysses uses his powers and broadcasts to the people of Earth, letting everyone know his true identity as a human being born on Earth, and promises to bring the first 6 million people who arrive at his location back to the fourth dimension to the Great World, which is his adopted homeworld. Promises of a life of plenty, of curing people of all sickness and lasting peace, and his popularity as a friend of Superman means that the people of Earth respond to his invitation, and soon he can fill up his ship with 6 million people. The real truth of the conflicted individual named Neil. Strangely, Ulysses does not agree to take his parents back to the fourth dimension. Superman, eavesdropping in their conversation, suspects something is wrong and demands to know why he warned his parents against joining the other millions of people he is taking. Ulysses warns Superman to get out of his way, and in the ensuing ensuing fight, Superman is knocked out and taken prisoner by him. Superman finds himself on Ulysses' ship, restrained by metals giving off kryptonite signature, depowering Superman. Here, Ulysses reveals the real truth. Neil is a seeker for his adopted home planet, and his work is to actively look for other planets in the 5 dimensions for resources to bring back to his planet. He explains that the backstory of Cleric being a villain to his people was a lie, and Cleric is his adoptive father, and they both staged the initial skirmish to win Superman and Earth's trust. However, Neil did not know his parents were alive, and thus had a disagreement with Cleric and went out of his way to try to save him. During their time together, Ulysses also starts respecting Superman and regrets taking him down, and tells Clark that he plans to return him to Metropolis once they reach his adoptive homeworld with the resources of Earth, which he explains are its people. Ulysses explains that his perfect utopic homeworld comes at a high cost, keeping its core alive, which in turn keeps everything together, but keeping the core alive needs a steady supply of biological life for it to devour and power itself. He further explains that millions of humans were brought back for this reason only, to sacrifice them to power the great world's core, as it would otherwise die in a matter of days, and the civilization of the great world would perish. Horrified, Superman tries to reason with Neil and asks him to consider alternatives that would not involve this mass genocide. Eventually, Superman manages to convince Ulysses to release him and tries to save everyone so they can be returned to Earth. As Superman finds Neil's parents have secretly got on board, Neil genuinely loves his birth parents and doesn't want them to die. The two of them then work together, transporting all the humans back to Earth, while Cleric and the other Seekers try to stop them. In the ensuing fight, the massive ship's core detonates, sparking a chain reaction that destroys the great world, obliterating its civilization even though all the humans are spared. This enrages Ulysses, who blames Clark for tricking him by making false promises of finding ways to save his civilization while ultimately contributing to its demise. Enraged, the two fight while being ported into Earth's dimension. After an epic battle where Ulysses initially had the upper hand, Superman unlocks a new power, the solar flare, with which he finally defeats Ulysses. Ulysses was captured and taken to Stryker's Island. The last son of Krypton versus the last son of Earth. Ulysses is perhaps the strongest human in the DC universe in terms of raw strength, proving that by going toe-to-toe with Superman and even besting him and bringing him to his absolute limit. Ulysses showcases a host of powers throughout his run in DC's Superman issue number 32 till 38. His altered physiology, due to soaking in the essence of the 4th dimension, grants him superhuman strength on par with Superman, as seen in his various battles throughout his comic book run. He can one-punch knockout Cleric, headbutt Superman unconscious, take down machinist robots like ragdolls, lift a massive ship off the ocean and hold it in the air alone. These are no mean feat for someone born just a mere human being. I cannot help but wonder what would have happened if current Bruce Wayne decided to take a trip to the 4th dimension to alter his physiology and acquire these superhuman powers. But that's a what-if for another time. Ulysses also showcases superhuman endurance, stamina, and durability. During the various fights he has, as he is able to survive the explosion from the destruction of his adopted planet, the Great World, not to mention tank many of Superman's fully powered blows. The fact that he survived Superman's solar flare power, a massive discharge of all accumulated solar radiation on each of Superman's cells all at once, is a testimony to Ulysses' immense durability. Ulysses' unique power, which gives him the edge, is his affinity to all kinds of radiative energy. He can absorb any energy blasts or discharges inside his body due to his altered physiology and then discharge them as when he wishes, thereby making it both a defensive and an offensive capability. As Superman finds out, he can easily tank his heat vision, absorb it, and then use it back against Superman, as well as make other creative uses of it, such as using his absorbed energy as a light source in dark environments. His mastery of reading energy signatures is so great that he can read the unique energy signature given by any living being and track them anywhere in the world, as he showcases that by following Superman's particular radiation all the way to the Daily Planet to find Clark Kent, not knowing that Kent is Superman's alter ego. It also helps him later to track down the Machinist using his destroyed robots, and also enrages him when he finds out that the Machinist's weapons are all over the world, helping fuel wars and are responsible for the killing of countless innocent human beings. Other than this, Ulysses can also fly. He is immune to all sorts of toxins and poisons, has superhuman intellect and senses along with superhuman speed, and is able to match Superman's flying speed and agility. Overall, this makes Ulysses a very challenging opponent for the Man of Steel. Ulysses versus Superman. Who is stronger? Superman has long been the benchmark of strength in comic book history, often being rated overpowered for most of his villains. Superman has even transcended comic book borders and has been compared to power against other fantastic characters such as Goku from Dragon Ball Z, Saitama from One Punch Man, Hulk from Marvel Comics, and many more. Whenever someone with superhuman strength and powers emerges, it's normal to compare them to Superman. So how does Ulysses fare against him? Well, canonically, they went head-to-head twice, with one victory going to the last son of Earth and one win going to the last son of Krypton. There was a brief skirmish between the two in the Death of Superman storyline Chapter 4, which was the Superman Wonder Woman issue number 28. Here, Superman once again fights Ulysses briefly as he temporarily escapes from his prison in Stryker's Island, but is quickly subdued back as the device keeping his power in check is brought back online. However, during that brief fight, Ulysses can once again take on Superman, albeit weakened since he is dying from kryptonite poisoning. Had the fight gone on longer, Superman was on course to lose. So who is stronger? In the first fight, Ulysses takes Superman by surprise and is able to knock him unconscious. In the second fight, which was a more long-drawn final battle sort of fight, Superman bests Ulysses, but only because he is able to unlock a new ultimate power in the form of the solar flare. Who would win? And I, for one, would be delighted to see the two of them square against each other in a new comic book issue in the future, to have an answer to this question forever. Ulysses' legacy. What's next for him? Ulysses is a human and has immense potential as an anti-hero character. We all love that misguided villain with a redemption arc being part of the new 52 reboot roster. Ulysses is a relatively new character first introduced in 2014. While he has made a few flashback appearances here and there, Ulysses had no other major appearances beyond his run in the Superman comics issue number 32 to 38. Ulysses still needs to appear in a significant television role or animated role. The character is pretty young, and there is much scope in the future for DC Comics writers to bring him back, possibly with some redemption arc, which finally sees him embrace his home planet. Thank you for watching our video on the origin of Ulysses, the last son of Earth. If you liked this video, then remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon for notifications.